Welcome to our Season 24 Championship Playoffs, a single elimination 6-player bracket. For those of you wondering about our relegation playoffs, we did have a couple of matches scheduled that would determine who would remain in Division 1 and who would go down to Division 2. And I was planning on uploading them, but how do I say this? The matches kind of sucked. But anyway, for those of you who are not to date, this tournament, as I mentioned, is a 6-player bracket single elimination format. Basically, our top 2 players of each parallel division have moved on, and our top 2 players, which in this case would be the 2 players who have scored the most points in the entire season, would get a round 1 bye. So they would immediately start in the semifinals, so the remaining players would have to play in the quarterfinals or in the round 1. A bit of a different thing we decided to do for the past couple of seasons is now we're giving an option to our players if they want to play on 18 starts or on 19 starts. And something that's a little bit different between the regular season and the championship playoffs is that in the regular season, the only way we would be doing 19 starts is if both players agree to it. However, in the championship playoffs, the higher seed will get first pick of whether or not they want to play on 18 or on level 19. Whatever that player chooses, that's what they're going to be playing. Doesn't matter if the other player agrees to it or not. So there's actually a little bit of strategy there. It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with this new rule. So who will move on? Who will take the crown? Stay tuned and find out. So Gerald wants level 18 for game 1. The seed is in the pin chat. So put that seed in, and then once we get it ready from both players, we can get started with the first game. Already ready from both players. So let me get you guys started with game number 1 of the first match in the championship playoffs. In 3, 2, 1, Tetris. You go Lombard. S square. This is nothing like counter pick taps, and it sucks. So in another why can't I speak today? I'm like all over the place. Another important thing to mention is that both of these players are not in the prize pool yet. They're not in the prize pool. Whoever wins this match will move on to the semi-finals and get into the money. So this is a very, very important match. Right now, 93,000 points for Dangler, 95 for Gerald. Right now, Dangler already at 200,000 at 39 lines. So very, very efficient start for Dangler. I think that's just like... let me try to do the math. That's 3 burns so far. Yeah, I think he's only taken 3 burns. Dangler a bit of a dark horse here. He qualified with a 3-2 match record. So he won 3 sets and he lost 2. One of the more notable losses was against Alex T, where Alex T would end up getting 2 world records actually. He got the first level 40 in CTL history, as well as the first 1.9 in CTL history. So Alex T, also having qualified into the playoffs, has a quarterfinals bye. Will play his first match in the semi-finals. Dangler did have to clutch up against Miles, eliminating Miles from being able to qualify into the playoffs, and Dangler would take that ticket for himself. Zempro saying first 2 times kill screen level 40 in history. I guess so. It was actually also the first 2 times kill screen like in general for CTL. We had not been able to get a single match or a single game reach all the way to the 2-time kill, the super kill screen. If one player would have made it in, the other player would have topped out like earlier in the past. So that match was actually very historic. It's a monumental match there. Anyway, Dangler has lost the lead. Just a couple of burns he's been forced to deal with. Here's having an 18-piece drought and counting. 430 versus a Gerald 432, and Dangler in a bit of trouble here. He needs to be careful. Dangler currently playing his first playoffs of the season, also of his CTL career. Also, I haven't really mentioned about Gerald, but Gerald having been a former CTL champion, one of the few people in the world to have reached colors. Has he gotten a crash? I don't think he's gotten a crash. I think he's been in colors though. And was one of the people who was fighting for that 10 million point bounty. So yeah, definitely a heated battle between these two. Some people asking for counter picks. No counter pick this season. Deal with it. Anyway, both players looking for a potential 600k transition. And Gerald will transition to first at 605. Dangler following suit at 595. Ooh, Dangler in a lot of trouble. But to close down his right well. And his capture's frozen. So that's kind of jank. But still in a lot of trouble. Needs to survive this. Opens up his right well. Needs a long bar now. Gets a spin, but is that really going to do anything? Needs to the left side. Hangs a long bar. And that will do it. Number 2. Can Dangler tie up the set in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Also, something I would like to mention is that we're going to be taking a small mini hiatus after this match due to scheduling conflicts. Some of our players will not be available until April. So yeah, after this match be having like a 2-week break. Which kind of begs the question, when am I gonna upload this to YouTube? Maybe I should, like, okay. So I'm about to catch up on the YouTube uploads. I feel like it would be for the best if I kind of save this match for like an April upload and then just upload a bunch of crap in between. Like once the regular season ends on the YouTube channel. Also, Gerald in a bit of trouble. Oh, hits a T-spin. Both players experiencing the same drought here, but Gerald looking for a long bar with a very flat board. There you go, bangs on a Tetris now at 128. Dangler was also getting a bit high up there, but does bang down a Tetris after that long bar comes as well. Now at 121. Both of them playing with fire a little bit, but should be okay now. Gerald's going to open up his right well and will be Tetris ready. Dangler taking the lead, but Gerald takes it right back, and DJ Mr. Boro saying, Vamos el Dangler. Yeah, as I mentioned, Dangler looking to tie up the set after that unfortunate early top out in game 1 into transition on 19 speeds. 260 now for Dangler, 283, 253 for Gerald. Oh, bit of a misdrop there for Dangler after that 23-piece drought. Utilizes that Lombard to solve the dependency, and then gets another Lombard for a Tetris. Still in the lead by about a Tetris, and also behind in the line count. Zempro saying, dependency first, let's go! That is indeed a very, very great moment to go for the dependency solve first, and then the Tetris. Actually, I don't really know of anybody that goes for the Tetris first anymore. That's like decent at the game. I mean, if the board is really high and they need to burn lines, then yeah, of course somebody would go for the Tetris. Even with the dependency, like that makes sense. But like in a regular scenario, I don't think anybody at this level would ever go for the Tetris first. Dangler with a monster game so far. 490 at 98 lines. Needs a J piece, but utilizes a Lombard to solve the dependency. Now creates a Lombard dependency, but now closes down that well. Turns it into a triple. And trying to avoid this other Lombard dependency that was starting to form. And getting burst. Yeah, there you go. 3 Lombards in a row. Dangler, you didn't even use the first one for the dependency because he didn't know that it was going to burst like that, but was able to use the next 2. Gerald with a pretty safe game so far. 510 out of 115 lines. Nothing really to say about it. After that kind of scary scenario he was in very early on, he's been kind of cruising. Still with a deficit, but like, you know, nothing that wouldn't be too detrimental. Especially this early on. Gerald at 515 creates a Lombard dependency on the right. That's kind of weird, but maybe that was accidental. Dangler already at 634, looking for a potential 658 into 19. He'll get that Tetris and a 658. So we are off and running here. Can Dangler do some better work here than in game 1? Creates a Lombard dependency early on. Another triple there for Dangler. Solves the Lombard dependency. He's got to be Tetris ready, opening up that right wall and bangs on a Tetris. Gerald transitions at 566. Had to close down as well, so couldn't utilize that Lombard for a Tetris, but gets on a Lombard for a Tetris. 591 now. Both players level 20. Dangler with a bit of a hang there with the Z piece. Or the Z, if you're wrong. But Dangler still with a lead by about 3.5 Tetrises. Keep in mind, he does have to burn, so it's going to cost a bit of pace, but he's still ahead by 100,000 points. Now it's 749 for Dangler, 670 for Gerald. Oh, and some indecision there for Dangler. Might set up a dirty. No, just going to go safe, keeping it clean, and will open up his right well once again. Now with a clean stack, as Gerald's going to be L-dependent, but does help the L-dependency on the left side. Now waiting for the Lombard, getting a bit droughted here. So forced to close down as well, but opens it right back up and bangs on a Tetris 704. At level 22 for Gerald. 7, now 811 for Dangler. Miles saying W spin. Pokemon in Miles. A former finalist in the previous season. Dangler with some nice setups here. Does bring in a Tetris and another one now at 898, level 24. So very efficient game here from Dangler. Sets up a T-spin, but doesn't hit the T-spin. So gonna have to close down as well. Creates a couple of holes in his stack, but does open it right back up and bangs, and it's gonna be Tetris ready. And does bring down a Tetris. Needs two Tetrises and change for the max out. Looking for a potential level 25 max out on Dangler's side, while Gerald is at 859, level 24, 189 lines. So Dangler still with a 100,000 point lead. And it looks like Dangler will look at the level 25 max out, assuming he doesn't burn. Sets up a Lombard dependency though. Is Tetris ready? Can he get the Lombard in time? Gave him the Lombard. Come on. It's just not going to show up. Forces to a double. Does get the max out into 26 though. And bangs out a Tetris. So 1.03 now for Dangler. Gerald still needs about a Tetris and change for the max out. Does have plenty more time before level 29. So this is still anybody's game. Dangler cannot let go of the gas pedal. Even though he is ahead. Now in a bit of trouble here. It's going to be J dependent. Converts it into a flat L burn. Kind of a delayed burn setup there for Dangler. But does clean out his board. Is almost open on the right side again. Tries to avoid the Lombard dependency and does just that. Now at 1.05. But Gerald, just like that, has brought this deficit down to 12,000 points now. 1.03 for Gerald. 1.05 for Dangler. Can set up 2 more Tetris now. 1 more Tetris for the level 29 transition. And he will transition with a 1.12. Gerald still level 28. Dangler looking to survive this and try and make some work here on the level 29 speeds. Trying to keep this lead and potentially force a tied set. Gerald in a bit of trouble here. Hangs a square piece on the left side, but does get the J piece all the way to the left. And still alive here. Oh, but it kind of overshifts that S piece. Still with a diggable stack, but needs the right pieces for it. Dangler kind of bringing this down as well now with 1.16. Gerald with 1.14. As he is still burning, neither player has been able to capitalize on each other's digs. They've been kind of burning so far in the 29th piece, but Gerald is clean now. Looking at Tetris ready here. Opens up his right well. He is Tetris ready. Needs the Lombard. Forced into a triple again as Dangler still cleaning. And now looking to set up a Tetris here at level 33 as Gerald has just not been getting the friendliest of pieces with the stack that he has. Dangler has hung the S piece. Solves this dependency with a Lombard. Needs another Lombard to solve the dependency. That's not going to burn anything though. So still with a pretty messy stack as Gerald now almost takes the lead, but still behind by about a few thousand points. Dangler in a bit of trouble here. Needs to burn this down and survive this, or else this could be Gerald's game to win. And Dangler's going to top out with 1.2. And with that burn, Gerald will take game number 2. And be a match point for game 3. In 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Dangler before the match saying, "My March Madness bracket is so cooked." There you go. TP Square Z. For those of you just tuning in, if you'd like to help contribute to the prize pool, you can do so with Match Reno. Currently at $1,500. And we're about $1,000 from breaking our previous record of the most amount of money we've raised for the prize pool at $2,500.69. And we still have more. We still have plenty more time before we reach the end of the season. Especially considering we have a hiatus coming along because of scheduling issues. Gerald starting off with a pretty messy stack. Which is going to give Dangler the opportunity to take a decent lead early on. Gerald still cleaning, closed down his right well. Couldn't utilize that Lombard for a Tetris because he was still in Dig City. Dangler sponsored by FanDuel, says Kafka's Cat. Yeah. Can you believe that? He didn't give me any of his sponsorship money. Some people, man. Some people. 182 now for Dangler. 85,000 points for Gerald, who's having a suffer start, but still in a safe situation. Regardless of what happens, Gerald does have the driver's seat. Welcome on in, Neto saying came at the end. Could Dangler still turn it around? A little bit of online facts here. Dangler holds the world record for highest score into 29. I believe being the first player to hit a 1.5. Recorded at least. Don't give me any of that. Supermine's got a 1.5 back in 2021. Because I don't care. You can post it, so I don't care. Dangler at 297. Gerald at 182. Ooh, Dangler a bit of a drought here. Has a fairly messy stack. Tupac, cheers. You're right. But Gerald with some nice drought management. Oh yeah, no one remembers Scotto. Yeah, the Scotto getting a 1.5 was the reason was the way I figured out that people will just find anything to argue about in Rabbit Hole. Oh man. Anyway, Dangler at 399, very efficient game. Gerald doing some work here. He has a clean board now after that very turbulent start. My grandpa got 2 mil before kill screen. He did it in 1876. Ugh. How was your day? My day's pretty good. Dying by allergies, but that's okay. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Solar Spectrus and Alex T here saying hot takes. Goody wins this match. Yes, very hot take from the Alex T. Ooh, Gerald in a bit of trouble here. Ooh, can he dig this down? Needs an L piece or a long bar. Hangs a T piece. Come on. No, I don't think that's gonna do it. Yeah, that's just gonna do it for Gerald. Topping out at 296. So Dangler avoids the sweep. Number 4. And Dangler forced a decider in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Anpu saying I have 4 orange keels on my desk. Well, have you ever thought about cleaning your desk, Anpu? I ate the 4 oranges 5 seconds ago. Uh-huh. Oh, Dangler. Good lord. Was setting up a lot of tucks very high up on the board. Now at 93,000 points. Got the Lombard right on time. In the lead. Gerald at 90,000 with cleaner board. Dangler with the L tuck setup. Orange peels can keep the room smelling zesty, says Kafkas. Well, just spray some like Lysol or something. Just poison your lungs with artificial, quote-unquote, orange flavor. Dangler with a bit of a messy stack. Is Lombard dependent on the left side? Dangler also with a jagged board. 30, not the best. Dangler gets a nice triple. Still Lombard dependent on the left side, but Gerald's now digging, so neither player able to capitalize right now. And that Lombard's just not showing up. Dangler in a bit of trouble. Oh, we cannot afford an early top out! And that's going to do it for Dangler and his run. Gerald has moved on to the semifinals. Well then. Still, congrats on making it to your first CTO playoffs. We'll see. Hopefully, things get better in future seasons. Great run, though. Gerald, congrats on making it to the semifinals. Gerald sitting on a fortunate seed, no L's at all. Well, there was an L.
Dan is ready to go. SB has the ready. Count it down for game number 1 of the final Division 1A in 3-2-1 Tetris. Playing very high up. Hangarang on the L, man. And that's going to do it. He's looking at it like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I got distracted because I didn't have no white bet audio. Is bored again for Dan. He's going to hang the S, and that's it. He's done. And SV's going to take another one that quickly. 3,000 points. Oh, but the Hangarang S is brutal. Daniel, that left side's going to be inaccessible, and it's over for him. His playoff run won't even happen. He's not going to make it.
Moment. There we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Because hello, Vandy. I suppose because it's the last day. People can submit matches and everybody has been put them in now. The Americans playing early morning. I mean, I think Doge last week had to play like at 7 a.m. his time, so it happens. So far Tetris Rich player, clean stacks, and another Tetris. Yeah, availability is kind of a drama in city whatevers. Anything to click Tetris, you have to deal with players in different time zones, different schedules, different lives. Daniel. That's ZenV. I'm so tired. I didn't realize this is a ZenV now. $10. Yeah, it might have been $10 being awake at 7 a.m. Well, 9 a.m. It's already central. It's in central. CTL. Tetris for Dangler. Dangler at 136 so far. No burns from him. Maz going for a couple burns. So things are getting in favor of Dangler right now, as Maz having a bit of a unstable board game at Tetris. Or I said I had cup ramen and 2 biscuit sandwiches for breakfast. I have some paella from Friday that I should. It's refrigerated. Don't mind me. But I have to eat it hopefully today. Just had lunch actually, and Randy. Yeah, it's already. I don't know how to do basic math this time. 12 p.m. in Britain. Oh, Tetris for Dangler. Dangler at 212 miles at 150 miles. Has been struggling a little bit after the first couple Tetrises. Of course he did, Mari. Tetris for both. Miles at 176. Dangler at 258, Tetris 4 miles, and Dangler at 199 for miles, 280 for Dangler. We're approaching the midpoint. I'm sure. I've been thinking of getting like a rice cooker. I mean, rice is pretty common here to have. I mean, that's technically counts as cooking it. I mean, using the rice cooker. Because there are people that they use like instant rice, and that I suppose that should be like illegal among like Asian people. But rice cookers are goated. I'm thinking of getting one. Right now we got Dangler at 316, Miles at 268, as we are now in the second half of the level. The thing is I have very little space and I don't eat that much rice. I mean, rice is pretty common here. People have it like every day, but I don't like it as much. Especially like the way that rice is made here is a bit tougher and... What is it like? Not tougher, but I don't know, it feels like it fills you up more quickly than the Asian way, I guess. Miles right now 319, Dangler at 349, and we are in a drought, but finally the lumber comes. 342 for Miles, 374 for Dangler. Miles doing a very nice recovery, just under a Tetris and a half behind the Dangler now. Miles is ready at 366, Tetris for Dangler at 419, Miles is ready, Tetris for Miles, 389. Dangler is gonna get Tetris, same for Miles, 414 for Miles, Tetris for Dangler, 465. So 2 Tetrises and change lead for Dangler, but Miles is gonna catch out, getting a Tetris to 437. Dangler is still building. Dangler going for some burns at 465, Miles at 437, Miles is ready. Tetris for Dangler, Dangler at 489, Miles at 437. Hello deck. Tetris for Miles 461, Dangler at 511. Tetris for Miles 484. We are now approaching transition. Dangler has 14 lines to go. Same for Miles, 534 for Dangler, 484 for Miles. Tetris for Miles 507. Dangler is ready. Tetris for Dangler. Dangler right now at 121. Miles at 507. Miles is ready. Dangler is setting up. Tetris for both, and 534 Miles, 581 for Dangler. Both players with room for up to 2 more Tetrises. Dangler has a double G dependency, so things are get a little bit spicy. Miles is in a dig, so only will be able to get 1 more Tetris with the current stack. Tetris for Dangler 603, Miles at 532. Dangler going for some burns, looks like he will have to burn to transition. A bit of high stack, transitioning at 604, still a strong gain from Dangler. Tetris for Miles, 558 transition. Dangler is having to dig a little bit here. A single and another for Dangler. Dangler at 615, Miles 608. The game became pretty close as Dangler had to go into a dig, but Miles is also not quite in his current position. Miles going for the dirty Tetris pretty quickly. 634 takes the lead for the very first time. 635 for the Miles, 622 for Dangler. Dangler still in the dig. Dangler might go for a dirty. He's Tetris ready. Tetris for Miles, 662. Oh, Dangler had to undo the Tetris ready board and only go for a triple. 632 for Dangler. 662 for Miles. Miles is ready. Oh, Miles couldn't get the yell over. This is getting dangerous for Miles. Miles needs to start burning. Needs a Lombard urgently. Gets a Lombard. Helps him a little bit, but still needs to open a well. Oh my goodness. Looking pretty rough for Miles. Miles at 669. Dangler at 665. Recovering. Miles gets the Lombard over. Still alive. Oh, the Lombard doesn't go over. Miles in trouble. Needs to open the well and get a nice sequence of Lombard. Gets a Lombard. And now needs a Lombard all the way to the left. Couldn't get it. Topping out at 682. Chase down for Dangler to 683 to take this. So still not over. Dangler gets the well open. Gets a double. Still trying to chase this down to 683. Hello deck. Good morning. 683. The score to get for Dangler. Almost there. One more burn. And he's taking game number 1. GG. 4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And players rough. We got a Tetris for Miles and Dangler. Miles in the lead by 2 pushdown points and gets a Tetris. So both players even at 45 and another Tetris to 68. Clean stacks all around. Miles right now at 68. Dangler at 68 as well, just a 2 push them points lead. Tetris for both 91, so no burns for either player. Miles is gonna go for the Vits. Dangler is building around the board, and they are both Tetris ready now. Tetris for Dangler. Miles gets a Tetris as well, 114 each. No burns, and looks like Miles will set up the first burn of the game. Miles is getting the burn and then the Tetris to 137. Dangler did the same. So these players are tied very much, separated by 2 points. Miles right now at 137, Dangler at 139. Miles is ready. Tetris for Miles, 160. Tetris for Dangler, 162. Tetris for Dangler, Tetris for Miles. They're just separated by a small fraction of a Tetris right now. Very, very close game. Let me just read my...